Hello, geography lovers. This is Ms. Walsh coming to you with another edition of Geography Map, handy dandy study story. And this time we're going to be looking at U.S. cities and the Great Lakes, as you can see here. And in this case, we're going to start off our story with Mexi. Mexico is below the United States. So Mexi is looking for her angels. Angels. Los Angeles is right here. And so she's going to go on a journey to find her angels. So Mexi lost her angels, Los Angeles. So the first stop she makes is she goes to her Granny Franny's house. Granny Franny in San Francisco. Right here, Granny Franny is in San Francisco. And she doesn't find her angels. So she keeps looking. She heads north right up here to Seattle. And Seattle, you can see with these two eyes. So she goes to see if her angels are in Seattle, but they're not. So she heads down over the Rocky Mountains, and it becomes nighttime. So she needs to stay overnight in a bear's den, inside the den in Denver. Here's the city of Denver right here. So she stays overnight in the bear's den in Denver. When she wakes up in the morning, she's starving. So she heads over here to get some chicken in Chicago. Chicago is right here. And so she's going to get some chicken. And the chicken is so grossly undercooked that she says, Houston, we have a problem. Just like they say in the movies when they have a problem. And so she also gets grease all over her pants. And so she has to go get some new jeans in New Orleans. Here's New Orleans right here. She gets some new jeans in New Orleans. So once she's got her new jeans, she heads on over to Miami. But the heat in Miami, the Miami heat is so hot, it makes her sweat. She makes her all sweaty and gross. So she ends up having to go wash her new jeans in Washington, D.C. Here's the washing machine. So she washes her clothes, washes her new jeans in Washington, D.C. Well, it's been a long time since she's eaten. She had chicken in Chicago chicken. So she's starving again. So she decides this time, instead of chicken, she's going to get some pork. But she doesn't want some old pork. She wants some new pork. So she gets some new pork in New York. There's New York City. And to go with her new pork in New York, she decides for dessert she's going to get some pie. What kind of pie, you ask? I'm glad you asked. Some Boston cream pie. And here's the city of Boston. So she still hasn't found her angel. She's been on this long journey and she hasn't found her angel. So she decides to ask the only man that can help, who is Superman. And of course, Superman will help her because Superman helps everyone. And to learn the Great Lakes, if you say Superman helps everyone, then you'll remember the Great Lakes. Super is superior. Man is Michigan. Helps is Huron. Every is Erie. And one is Lake Ontario. So some people will have you remember the Great Lakes with homes, but that's not helpful to find where each lake is actually located. But Superman helps everyone will help you to remember the Great Lakes. So she asks Superman to help her, and Superman, of course, helps her and says, I saw your angels pass right through here, right through Canada, and they were on their way to go to Los Angeles, which is actually where they belong. Back here in Los Angeles is where the angels ended up. So I hope you enjoyed the study story. You should watch it 1,000,000 times so you can pass the quiz. Remember, it starts with Mexi in Mexico, who lost her angels, Los Angeles. She went up to visit her Granny Franny to see if they were there, which they weren't. Granny Franny is in San Francisco. She continued up to see if her angels were in Seattle, but she didn't see them there. So she headed over into the Rockies, stayed overnight in a bear's den in Denver. They still weren't there. She woke up really hungry, so she had some chicken in Chicago. It was so undercooked, she said, "Houston, we have a problem right here in Houston." So she had to get some new jeans in New Orleans, right here. New jeans in New Orleans. She headed over to Miami, where the Miami heat was so hot it made her sweat in her new jeans. So she had to come up here to wash them in the washing machine in Washington. She was hungry after not eating so long, so she had some new pork in New York, had some Boston cream pie in Boston, and then, of course, asked Superman to help her find her angels. Superman helps everyone, the Great Lakes, Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario. And of course, the angels had gone back to Los Angeles. Have a good night, and I'll see you for the next study story.